Okay, I'm here with Kiefer Haffey, a head coach at Concordia. Kiefer, this is year 2. You just finished year 2 at Concordia as head coach?
Yeah, just finished year 2.
Okay, year 2. Kiefer and I, you know what, Kiefer? I don't even know how long I've known you. A couple years?
Yeah, I would say 2-3 years.
Yeah, 2-3 years. So I'm really excited to dive in here and get to know Kiefer a little better. I really only know Kiefer in the coaching circles for the most part. I'm excited to hear some of these answers. I have no idea what's going to come out of Kiefer's mouth. This could go anywhere. We are dressed in our Saturday Corona quarantine best here. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We're going super casual. Let's just dive in. Let's get into it. So, Kiefer, what I really need to know right now, if you were not a coach, what would you be doing?
I think it's hard to identify a specific profession. I think like the easy answer, if I was to pick kind of a specific profession, would be like a sports agent. I thought would always be pretty cool, but I don't genuinely think that had I not gone the coaching route, that's where I would have followed. But I do think something just kind of in like the entrepreneurial world, not necessarily like owning and operating a brick and mortar type store, but I got to read the 4-Hour Work Week when I was
Great book.
early in kind of my college years. And so just the concept of time, income, mobility has always been something like in my brain. And even as kind of a coach, as almost like side business concepts, whatever it might be. Just so I think something like running apps or software systems from home, whether it's selling products online, something where I feel like it's kind of the entrepreneurial realm without owning this major, brick and mortar business, but just a side hustle as a full hustle, I guess. I don't know.
I love it, man. Coming out of Corona world, we'll get out of this Corona world at some point. We'll go back to the earth spinning and people being a little bit normal, but our normal is going to be different. And things aren't going to be like they were before. You may want to stick to that entrepreneurial mindset there because there's going to be some big opportunities coming out. I'm actually a little nervous to see what the world is going to be when we come out of here because a lot of people are not going to have jobs, I feel like.
No, I agree. I think that's definitely a major thing. One of the things that I've thought about as this whole coronavirus social distancing has played out is how many companies are going to say, oh, wow, our employees were pretty productive from home.
Yep.
We might be able to really transition a lot of work to just remote working. And it's something that I actually say to our players at times. I talk with friends about it, still being a young guy and friends who aren't knee deep in established careers and stuff like that. It's just the concept of, I think over the last 10, 20 years, there's been this mindset for graduates that, hey, I have to graduate in this degree or field and then find a company and kind of dedicate my work to this company. And I think that exists less and less and will continue to kind of exist less as we go down. And I think the reality is as technology continues to kind of exponentially grow, and especially during like trial time periods like this, I think more and more graduates are going to be like independent consultants. They might have specializations and they might be contracted by multiple companies. So it's just cool concepts of like, it might not be me working for a company. It just might be me and I'm good at these things and I'm contracting my services for them.
Absolutely.
And I think we see that a lot more today.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I've always had this thought on different perspectives of the two phrases, absence makes the heart grow fonder and out of sight, out of mind. And how we're going to find out what businesses really subscribe to, which one they subscribe to, or where you stand in there by if you get your job back or you don't. It's going to be like these essential employees. You're going to find out real fast what the true meaning of essential is. Who are some of the people that influence you now or haven't influenced you, whether it was to get into coaching or just people you study, people you follow?
The 3-tier answer to this almost. There's the first person that is definitely an influence of mine is just my grandpa. He passed away a few years ago, but like talk about always positive. I mean, no matter what, it was just always positive and always made decisions based on what was right, not what was easy. Like just never wavered in that. And I mean, as I grow older, it's almost like I grow more and more impressed and more fond of his ability to do that. As coaches, you hear people talk about energy givers and energy vampires and stuff like that. He had like energy vampire repellent. Like it did not matter who around him was just like trying to be moody or have an attitude. Like it just didn't phase him ever. He was always just going to be that person in the room who was like, no, everything's awesome. Like everything's great. I remember being like 12 and golfing with him and my dad and a buddy of ours, competitive. And my friend and I are just, we have our own little inner competitive battle going on, unbeknownst to the world. But like we both want to beat each other. And my friend misses this like 4-foot putt, crucial at the time. And I'm just like, couldn't even hold it in. Just like, yes. And I'll never forget, my grandpa just went off. And pretty much his whole thing was like, hey, he was a big golfer. And it's like, when you're golfing out with friends, family, whatever, like you just do not root for each other to fail. Like you just don't do it. And so like just simple things like that was like,
that's awesome.
Man, it's just this 4-foot putt on an average day of golf. Like it's not a big deal. It was a thing to him. It was like, don't bring that attitude to my golf day. Like just don't do it. So I think he's definitely a big one. And then there's coaches that I have no connection to that I look at for different reasons. So like I always look at Jimmy V and just like diving into the research of his story. And even if you watch the 30 for 30 on him and stuff like that, like his players just seem to have this deep-rooted love for him and vice versa. And the whole family atmosphere, love concept, you just feel like whatever they had that. They had this belief and genuine like enjoyment for each other and their program and love. And so for like love purposes and that relationship, I look at him a lot. And then as a young coach, I feel like I look at Brad Stevens or PJ Fleck or Sean McVay, coach of the Rams, for like youthful coaching energy, just watching how these guys are tenacious in what they do. And so I think there are even times like I'm stepping up to speak in front of people or whatever, and I feel like I have a quick moment of like, hey, PJ Fleck mode. Just own the room while you're here. So I think just some of that stuff for different purposes. And then there's definitely a lot of coaching friends that I know personally that, I pick their brains of, you included. Ryan, definitely our former head coach at Concordia, Coach Sankey, who's now at Jamestown. A lot of people, honestly. It's one of my favorite things in coaching is how willing to share and listen and talk coaches are. It's really cool.
Yeah, I said this the other day. There's the one thing I wish I actually would have done more of when I was in coaching, and especially a young coach, was actually pick people's brains more. Maybe I just felt like I needed to have the answers to prove that I was smart enough to be able to do this, but I probably didn't pick enough people's brains as I should have. But that's the beauty of technology, right? Right now, it doesn't matter. You can still have these conversations. You can still talk to people. So many podcasts, so many, videos out there, coaching clinics now still going on. There's just so many resources that now, if you're not taking this time to really improve yourself, man, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, right? I mean, there's just so much you can do.
We've been having some staff meetings as an athletic department for Concordia. And the other day I was able to kind of do our opening devotional. And one of the things that I talked about then, you kind of just attributed to, I saw this tweet from a coach who said, if you don't come out of coronavirus or the social distancing period with a new skill, a side hustle started, or more knowledge, then you never lacked time, you lacked discipline.
Yeah.
Well, granted, there are definitely people going through scary times and real things, whether it's family members that might be sick and all that stuff. For a large majority of us, that tweet rung very true, right? And if you don't come out of this thing in better shape or better at your craft or finish a couple, like whatever it might be, then again, you never lacked time.
Yeah.
You lacked the discipline to do some of those things.
That's so good. That's really good. It's like, I always feel like a lot of people are be careful what you wish for. People have been wishing for time, and now they're like, whoa.
Yeah,
but then my favorite one is, I wish I just had more time with my kids. Now, like after like 24 hours, it was like, all right, can you guys go to school? I got enough of my kids.
Much.
Yeah. Not luckily, that's the wrong word. I don't have kids, so I don't have that conundrum, do I want more time with them or don't I? I do live with a 6-year-old and some friends, so that's been fun. We've been getting some Mario Kart in. We've been
That's
playing a little
awesome.
Rock Band, stuff like that. It's been I played more Mario Kart in the last 3 weeks than I had my entire life. I had never played.
Pro.
So yeah, so that's my new
Mario
skill.
Kart Pro now.
I'm solid. Can't say I'm good at Mario Kart. I'm just
I'll
solid.
send you the tweet so you can reply to him and let him know
Yes.
that you got these new skills developing.
Please do. I'm sure that's what he meant. I'm sure that's what he meant.
Awesome.
Better at Mario Kart. I know we haven't known each other like a super long time, but do you have like a story that you remember about me or something that I'm involved in that comes to mind when you hear my name?
It's gonna sound, I think, silly to you. I think honestly, the thing that comes to my mind in terms of thinking of stories or just that realm right off the bat is isn't necessarily a specific example, but more again just the availability you've given a young coach who, like you said, haven't known that long, haven't known on super personal levels, and have just been willing to share and help grow and connect with. And so one of if there was a specific moment that I think stands out to me, it's last end of summer. You came and sat in with me and my staff during kind of our preseason, hey, gearing up for our girls to be back on campus staff meeting. And even in just what was probably give or take a 2-hour window, just these like nuggets and tidbits of wisdom or the way you'd phrase concepts. And they might be things that like we've talked about as a staff or have talked about wanting to do, and whether it was just the way you phrased it or adjustments to some of those things. And it was just like, man, we've been here for 2 hours and I feel like we really got some good stuff and got great insight. And I hope that's one of my positive characteristics as a young coach is almost the humility to be able to say, hey, I don't have it all figured out. And I think you kind of touched on it a second ago too, I think maybe it's a me and you thing, maybe it's an every coach thing. I think there's some piece of competitiveness where you want to prove you have the answers all the time, or like why you're doing things all the time, and you might have a vision and an idea and whatever for what you're trying to do, but there is such a value to being able to say, hey, I'm not sure, or this isn't a strong area of mine. What do you got for me? Like, what have you done in years past? So I think that day specifically, but then just kind of the never-ending ability of letting me just like pick at you and be, hey, what do you think, or whatever it might be. So that to me has been really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. I appreciate you allowing me to come into that meeting and share some stuff. That was a lot of fun. When you're coaching your own program, you don't get a chance to do that a lot, and so that was pretty cool to see another staff how they work together, what you guys are trying to accomplish and get ready. So I think you're doing a great job, and you're right. You already have a piece of something that a lot of young coaches don't have, and that is the willingness to go ahead and pick other people's brains, and it's only going to get you where you want to go faster, because you're going to learn a lot of things that other people have done wrong, and that's why they're giving you the advice they're giving you. You don't waste time making your own mistakes or making their mistakes, right? Skip all those. Let them give you the good stuff. We've been in lockdown. And I know there's a lot of ways to stay connected, whether it's to your team or to friends and family and stuff like that. But what are some things you guys have been doing that's been pretty fun, or ways you've been trying to stay connected?
Monday mornings, we're still doing academic check-ins with our girls. So 8:30 a.m. they kind of touch base with us on Zoom, and then us and our graduate assistant, myself and our graduate assistant, will split up our girls and kind of just check in with girls one-on-one and kind of rotate the girls every week, make sure they're staying disciplined academically and doing those things. Mondays at 4 p.m. we've been doing like culture meetings, which has been really good for a number of reasons. One, just because of the weekly installation of working on our culture, redefining what that is, buying into it. We did like a culture report card a few days ago on this past season, so we were able to define areas as a team that, hey, we didn't do a great job in some of these areas. One of them was language, so like body language, verbal language, nonverbal language, both the ability to give and receive, like communication, like a lot of good stuff. And then we're obviously a faith-based university, so on Thursday mornings, we're doing like a team chapel together at 10:30 a.m. So whether that's finding something kind of just through YouTube, or our school has started streaming our chapels online that way has been really cool.
Nice.
And then honestly, being able to get recruits into some of those has been pretty cool. Giving them a chance to see our girls' personalities a little bit and kind of
That's
be
awesome.
involved in team concepts while we can't get them on campus. But I think then just like outside of our team, family-wise, I think that's been the silver lining of whether it's like connecting with coaching friends. I was able to talk with the coach yesterday on Zoom just to touch base for about an hour, and it was really cool. And then obviously my family and my girlfriend and our dog, and just being able to spend time with them. So like last night, our family all got together and did like a trivia game on Zoom. So we just spent like an hour together and just played trivia on Zoom, which is pretty cool. So
I've loved seeing people's creativity and what they're doing with Zoom or FaceTime, or like how they really are staying connected and that kind of stuff. Like no one would have ever thought about playing a game on a video screen a month ago. People just didn't do that. It was like, oh, they live far away.
Right.
Now it's like everyone's far away, even if you're next door. It's like, let's just get on the video. My roommates had a little bonfire at the end of the driveway with the neighbors across the street, and they were at the end of their driveway, and they'd had a bonfire, 2 different fires going, just hanging out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so they're just yelling across the street. Just the creativity is, out of necessity, but it's amazing. That's been really cool. I think it's been interesting to see. I'm working with the Mystics AAU club, and we've been doing a lot of culture stuff and team building and mentality and mindset meetings with different teams to keep them connected, because these young kids, everything that they do has just been ripped out, right? They can't go to school and they can't play sports. And so everybody that I'm connected with, those are their two main things. And so they're really lacking that connection. And so just be able to get them onto Zoom just to see people's faces and chit chat, even about sport type stuff and mentality, has been awesome. It's amazing to me the lack of structure and in your day and what that kind of does to people. And including myself, I'm a very routine, structured person, and I've had to really try to find and create some structure, or I am just wandering. Like I'm just wandering around all day long, and I'm binge watching on Netflix the entire day. I'm playing Mario Kart. I'm like, okay, I really got to get into something. So I've had all these projects listed, and your quote is coming back to me is like, man, it's not a matter of time, it's a matter of discipline. Like I just need to dive into something, right?
Yep.
And so I've really tried to create structure, but that's really what we're working on with the Mystics program right now, is all of these things you always want to do, never have had time for, because normally you're trying to get on court, and now you get to spend all this time with your team on the culture piece and the team building and connection that they can create. I'm really anxious to see how much better teams are coming out of this, and how much we miss this time in future seasons because we can't recreate it.
Right. And so it's interesting because that stuff is real. I think one of the first things that my girlfriend and I did when this whole thing started kind of playing out was we created a daily schedule for each other, or for each of us, I should say, and try to add some aspect of normalcy, try to, wake up at a regular scheduled time, do certain work things. So I've always been a big to-do list person, but I feel like the more and more, I get into coaching and get older, my to-do list just gets bigger. And so I try to categorize it, right? Whether it's personal to-do list, financial pieces of our program, recruiting stuff. And so I think having almost like a process calendar of not hey, I need to chop my to-do list, but here's an hour for that to-do list. Here's an hour for that to-do list. And so that's helped. But a question for you, because this is something I feel like even before the virus and always interested in, is I think a lot of the stuff that inspires young players today is kind of the shine and the glamour of social media, right? So whether it's recruit visits, whether it's posting accolades, articles, workouts. One of the challenges I want to figure out a way of giving to our team is, hey, we're going to work every day. We're going to get better during this thing, and we're going to do it without posting a single video online. And helping them establish a sense of reward and achievement that doesn't come from somebody favoriting their tweet. it just comes from the reward of, hey, I'm getting better. So I don't know. I'm curious just to pick your brain and see.
Yeah, it's really good because I'm that person too. Like I will let my actions speak for myself. I'm not really one to post everything on Twitter just for I will do things if I think it's positive and going to help somebody and maybe motivate them, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel like these athletes, and I actually said this to one of the teams. We were talking about confidence yesterday, and I've listened to a podcast by Ed Milet. It's an older one now, but it was on confidence. And basically I will paraphrase, but like confidence is the reputation you have with yourself. And those who don't have a lot of confidence, it's because they don't have a good reputation of themselves. And so they look for that validation outside. And so this happens all the time in teams, right? Like, we were talking about how to get confidence, and they were saying I need encouragement for my teammates. And I was like, but that doesn't make you a better left-handed dribbler because I said you got it. It doesn't make you better at your left hand. So if you don't have a certain level of confidence, you're not going to, my encouragement's not going to make you feel better. It's going to give you the validation you're searching for to know you can go ahead and try it. But it's fake confidence because you already don't have it in yourself. Right. And so for me, what you just asked is like that same thing. It's about building this confidence and like attitude within yourself to know, like, I don't need the validation from outside sources because I'm getting it from within. And so if I want to put something online because I want people to see it because I think it might help them or serve them, great, go ahead and do it. But if I'm putting something online for validation of what I'm doing, I'm not doing it for the right reasons, and I really don't believe in it anyways. Right. And so until you can get that into their minds, like this is a lack of confidence in you because you need their validation of telling them you're good at it.
It's a short-term gain, right? It's like saying, hey, this is my workout. I put it online. You're all seeing it. Yeah, we're working. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. You won this hour. You won today. But tomorrow or in a few months, or if you play an opponent that has, seen that post and they beat you, you won the post.
Yeah.
You won the game.
Yeah. And let's be honest. We don't know if they did a workout or they did 10 push-ups and made it look real hard.
Right. Right.
Might have been their first rep. That was,
I'll show you the last 5 of my 1,000 push-ups whenever.
Exactly. It's almost like serving a false god. I mean, it's false. It's not real. We don't know who are these people you're trying to get validation from. Other people sitting at home scrolling through Twitter. Why do I need their validation?
Right.
Right. Validate within yourself, within your team. Yeah. Make sure your teammates are being accountable to it. But I don't know if there's the person that finds the secret to that is going to be a gazillionaire, right? And they're going to be a gazillionaire. I mean, that's just going to be because everybody's searching for that. How do you get these young kids who know nothing but social media to understand you're serving the wrong thing. You're serving the wrong thing.
Right.
That is
enjoyment of personal validation. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a one word for the year? You follow John Gordon. He does his one word every year.
The established word to me is either one of 2 things. So I'm just going to pick the one that I feel like it should be. Yeah. And for me, it's outward. So we talk a lot as a team or have talked a lot as a team about the concept of inward thinkers versus outward thinkers. And even as a young coach, I feel like I catch myself a lot of times having inward thoughts. Yep. Man, I wanted our team to accomplish this goal, and things that, like, if you get deep down to it and really dig, like there's a little bit of personal desire in that. Sure. I wanted that as part of like my coaching story and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, then that's not about us. That's not about somebody else. Like that's selfish intentions. Yep. And I think that's a dangerous place to be in and go. Then you're playing comparison games and whatever. So to me, mine is outward and just constantly thinking of, how am I thinking of somebody else? How am I thinking of our girls? How am I thinking of our staff? How am I thinking of a younger coach, family members that I can connect with? And so that's I think to be really good at that is an everyday challenge. And I think when you find coaches who are really good at that, you feel it from them. Like they're just good at it and just naturally have this almost like a warm-hearted, soft
Yeah.
spokenness, like talking to your grandmother or something. You're like, oh man, like this coach, they don't even know me, but like they want to know, like they care.
You know what I think that is? It's a really strong sense of self. They're so confident in themselves and who they are that you can't harm them or puncture that, or so they'll give you all their information. They're only concerned on how they can help you.
Right.
Like and it's so hard to get that, especially young. Like it's really hard to have that. And I think you're right. Those people that do have it, I mean, they walk in with it. You just know it. They just walk in and you feel it. I ironically chose the word move, only just wanting to be ready and able to move wherever I felt God was leading me in whatever direction, as I'm really trying to figure out next steps in my life. And I think God thought it was really funny and said, go ahead and sit still for a month, 70 days or whatever. He just said, go ahead and have a seat. And I said, okay, so here I am. We'll see where it goes, but patience is a form of action too, right? All right, last question. Using the initials of your name, what set the lineup for your summer music festival? Who's coming?
Oh, whoa.
Who's
okay,
coming?
I know the last one.
Okay.
The eight. So, am I doing my first and last, or like first, middle, last? How am I doing this?
First, middle, last. We'll get 3 groups there.
So my last one for sure is the Hangout Fest.
Ooh.
I don't know how popular that is, but I got to go when I was like 19 with some friends. I think it was our freshman year of college, and it's on the beach, Gulf Shores, Alabama. It is like, at least for me, it's just
like
the most
you're just hanging out?
It's like a major music festival.
Like who would be there? Like who was there when you were there?
So when I was there, Chance the Rapper wasn't very big, but was like pretty young. So that was really cool at the time. The Killers were a headliner. I'm a big fan of the Killers.
Yeah.
Outkast was like the last headliner. So it was a Sunday night kind of finale, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Modest Mouse was there. The Black Keys were there. I don't know if you've ever heard of Portugal the Man, but he was there. There was like a lot. And so it was like a really big lineup, and they have a huge lineup. I think Jack Johnson was also there. And so that whole thing, while you're on the beach, like literally ocean right there, it's like,
that's
like two of my favorite things, music and the beach.
That could just be it. That's just like drop the mic right there. Just done.
I think you should put a link into wherever you post this and make sure that the Hangout Fest gives you a little royalty percentage or something from this.
Only I could find my pencil. I've been searching for this thing so I can take some notes. That's annoying. I'll find it. Just one for your K. Let's go one artist or band.
Only because I already said the Killers. We'll say the Kooks, which is kind of an alternative band. They have some good music that I really like. I feel like I like all types of music. But the Kooks are more of like an alternative type band. So the I.
Ooh, I's tough. I tried to do this with my entire last name, like entire first name and last name, and I got 3 I's. And I was like, I'm stuck.
I gotta look at my Spotify. I have no I's in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. Well, that's your homework now. Go find some I's.
Okay, I have to broaden my music list. I need an I.
Too limited. I'm surprised you didn't think of Incubus, though. I mean, they're a little more in the...
I mean, just if I had to pick one right now without having full depth, it would be Incubus. Because I do like their music, but there's just this part of my brain that's like, there's got to be someone out there that's more your pick.
I like it. That's awesome. Well, Kiefer, it has been awesome connecting with you in this little short period of time. I'm glad that, something positive out of this whole lockdown is we get to do things like this.
No, it's definitely cool.
Great. I appreciate
Thank you for having me and picking my brain with some of the most interesting questions that I've had.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about, right? Gotta be thinking a little bit. Just can't give the old status quo. No one cares about our X's and O's. We want to know the real stuff.
It's awesome.
I love it. Well, have a great rest of your Saturday. Stay relaxed. Be productive, but not all day. Just do something fun today.
You too. Get a walk in, play some Mario Kart, and get it going.
I'm on it. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, Coach.
See ya.